So this month has the theme Rebuild Your Life. This is one of the things that I do see a lot with individuals who have ADHD or identify with it, are unorganized with time and planning. They're like, I have to get my life together. I've got to get my life back. I need to do X, Y, and Z. So this month, everything that we're going to be discussing in this group, and when you see it on YouTube or the podcast, it's going to be built around this topic. So let's go ahead and talk about what we are going to dive into today. Like I said before, today's topic is a snapshot in time. When you are wanting to rebuild your life, one of the most important things that is necessary to do is to know exactly where you are in this stream of time. When you don't know that, it creates a bigger challenge in being able to pick out which pieces you want to start with first. So the problem here is that when you don't objectify exactly where you are, it makes it more frustrating to actually make the changes that you are trying to create and habits that you are trying to establish for you to become the person that you want to become. This may include putting in too many changes at one time or changes that are too big. It's like remodeling a home when you have to live in it when it comes down to rebuilding your life, because basically you don't completely bulldoze a house when you are remodeling it, and you still have to live there. You go through and pick out which room needs to be worked on first and then proceed from there, because you still need to be safe and you still need to be protected. So when you have this snapshot in time, it allows you to still feel safe and protected as you are rebuilding your life. So what is this thing that we need to look at? Well, it's overall wellness, because all those pieces contribute to how you look at life, how you feel about life, and how you perform, even when using strategies to help you through navigating ADHD. And there are 8 different areas of wellness. And when you identify exactly where you are in those areas, it helps give you a feeling of grounding. You feel safe and secure. It takes what is abstract to you and then makes it concrete, something that you actually can see. So let's take an illustration of this. A lot of us know what abstract art is. Abstract art is usually left up to interpretation. The painter painted it, but anybody who walks up and sees that can pretty much make of it whatever it is that they want. Well, that's what happens when all these 8 areas are in your head. It's an abstract piece of art and it's left up to interpretation. And sometimes that interpretation is very skewed and off from what the reality is. So when you make these areas of life concrete, it's like looking at a painting of the beach. When you look at that painting, you know exactly what it is. You see sand, you see water, you see boats, you see people. It's the ocean. So when you do this with the 8 areas of life, you no longer are leaving it up to interpretation in your mind, because it's now a complete picture, a complete painting of exactly where you are right now. And when you do this, it allows you to come from a space of non-judgmental observation. You get to take the emotion and the feeling out of it because you are making it something concrete. And in most cases, when you do this objectification of where you are in your life, looking at these 8 pieces, it's not as bad as you think. You then begin to do this with an eye of understanding more of who you are and where you are, and the improvements that you want to make, and how you can do so with small incremental habits that are not going to leave you frustrated and feeling even more out of balance than you were before. So now let's take a look at these 8 areas one by one. And these are not in any particular order. Hi, Sarah, so good to have you. These are not in any particular order. So I just want you to think about them as we go. So with your career, your current state of your business or your job, you want to ask yourself this question. Does it work to the strengths that you know that you have? And does it make you happy? And we're not going to spend a lot of time in these. These are just to get you to think. The next one is social. Understanding your personality is key to building a social life that is going to fuel you instead of deplete you. So this helps you to know when and how best to spend time with others so that it increases your wellness. Also, when to kind of pull back so that you can fill yourself up properly. Another area is emotional, point blank, how you feel. And it also encompasses some of the things that you do think. So when you understand how you feel when things are going well, when they aren't going well, and during neutral times, it helps you to identify those patterns of emotional dysregulation that comes with dealing with ADHD, which is a part of an issue with executive function, which we are going to talk a little bit more, down the road about some of those things. And especially if you work with me one-on-one, as I continue to grow myself, my understanding of these things is much better. And then I can help you through that process as well, because it can be tricky. It can be frustrating because it's like, why are my emotions at such a wide range? Well, this will help you to objectify this so that you can see where it is that you are wanting to improve. Next is educational, where you are with your level of training, whether it be, towards your business or any other aspect that you are wanting to have education on. So you want to ask yourself, do you feel that the training that you have is sufficient enough? Are you implementing the things that you are learning in the way that you would like to implement them? The next one has to do with your family. Of course, we know that those are individuals to whom we are related to. You want to ask yourself, do you get to spend time with them the way that you would like to, with quality attention? Because there may be times where you're there, but where is your brain? Is it right there with the individuals that you love and care for? Or is it focusing on the things that you've not been able to do because of whatever in life or some of these other areas potentially being out of balance? Is it causing you distraction from being fully present with where you want to be? Because a lot of times, we start businesses, our family is one of the main reasons why. But if that section is out of balance and you're constantly concerned about it or doing too many things because you've not learned how to pare that list down, it's affecting this area as well. Another portion of this wheel has to do with our physical wellness. And a lot of times, physical health, a lot of times people only think about physical when it comes to health or wellness. And that is a piece. But as we can see, that is only 1/8 of the piece of the pie. So you want to ask yourself, how is your wealth? How are your health? Sorry, I said wealth, because really health is part of the new wealth. But how are you doing in these areas so that you can contribute to optimal physical health? When you take a look at the picture, we've got shoes, water, good things to eat. How are you doing with those things? And of course, this is multifactorial. There are other things, components to this that do add to it. And this is something that I have broken down with my clients into at least 3 different sections so that you can see how well you are doing and then take an objective look at, okay, yeah, maybe this portion there's something that I can improve upon so that my overall wellness can start to move in a positive direction. So next is the financial area. Of course, we all know that that is related to money. Are you where you want to be when it comes down to your finances? Of course, we all know that money is not the end all and be all, yet there may be certain goals that we want to achieve when it comes down to our finances to kind of relieve or alleviate some kind of stress. And we think about ADHD and money and impulsivity. It is real because the brain is constantly looking for a dopamine hit. Spending money is one of them. So the question is, are you spending money impulsively? You want to think about that and how it relates to your financial piece of this puzzle and overall wellness. Then you want to ask, is the business that you have, is it actually contributing the way that you want it to, so that you can, with other areas, be in them the way that you would like. And our last segment here is spiritual, which is a connection in some form of worship. The majority of us have this as our number one thing. Yet, when those other pieces of life are out of balance, this one can begin to suffer because we may think, and it's just a human thing. So this is not about shaming. It is about just understanding how the brain works and how it sees things. Because things need to be clean, because work needs to be done, because the family needs to be taken care of, those things can exert a certain amount of pressure to make them feel like they are at a higher priority than this. So you want to ask yourself these questions. Do you feel like you're living your life in harmony with your purpose in relation to your spirituality? What is the quality of the worship that you participate in? Now, do you see that I didn't say quantity? Yes, there are certain ones that the majority of us do go to on a regular basis, but there are other things that we do to prepare for those. The question is, are you preparing for quantity, or are you preparing a small amount with good quality? Then you want to also ask yourself, do you have meaning in your life? Because that connects you to the purpose and gives you more drive in this area of spirituality. So those were the 8 pieces of the pie that make up wellness. Now we're going to talk a little bit about a couple of my clients and what they said when we went through this process together, because I want you to truly know that it is not as bad as you think. That is why we go through this process of making it objective, so that you can get outside of your head and put it on paper and not be so overwhelmed, so that when you begin to make these, you want to start this process of rebuilding your life, you know just that, where to start. Because in general, that is the biggest problem that I do see, is not knowing where to start. So one of my clients here, who I actually mentioned before, she said that she feels like she has a visual assessment to work with. She has clarity where she needs to improve and where she's doing well. And she's going to give herself grace. Another one of my clients, she mentions that she feels like there are things that she needs to focus on improving, but it makes her actually see that she's on track. It's helped her to see these areas a little bit closer and to see where I'm actually not doing so bad. So if you want to be able to feel like my clients and then have actions that you want to be able to take, the question is, what now? The question is to book a session with me so that we can get your snapshot in time. But why is it that you want to do this? It's because we break down each one of those categories into specific segments versus what we did today, which was more of a yes or no view, we actually take them and make them something that you are going to love being able to see. You're going to also need help with understanding the different layers that this is made up of. Each one of those segments, the majority of them have, excuse me, more than one layer to them, such as the one with physical. I'm going to go ahead and just give you those three so that you understand what that means. Eating, sleeping, exercising. We take a look at all three of those in relation to your overall health. And the majority of those have more than one of those components, just like the physical. And then we take some of them and we connect them together, because some of those, based on what you find, is impacting another segment. So I get to help you see how that's influencing another segment of your life so that we can break it down even further. This gives you your truest sense of your snapshot in time. That way, as you continue to work on rebuilding your life, you know where you have been so that you can continue to move forward to where you want to be. So what I would love is for you to reach out to me. And if you, for any questions that you have, or if you want to hire me as your coach or to work with you in a 1.5-hour session where we just focus on this snapshot in time, you can, I just realized that there is a typo in my email address on this slide. It is Pink Productivity Coaching with just one I and not two at gmail.com. Or you can visit my website. This will take you directly to where you can purchase it's called an aroma focused strategy session, where you're going to have your snapshot in time done. Or you can reach out to me at my phone number there at 762-441-0058.